Oh, testing, testing. Okay, boys and girls, welcome to the last video of our per unit tax and per unit subsidy series. Okay, now I know it took me a while to get to this final video, right? Because it has been quite busy for these 2 or 3 days. Okay, now let's get started and get right into the last part where we are going to talk about how the subsidy benefit is shared among producer and consumer, right? Now, if you remember from 3 videos ago, right? We talked about the condition. Now, if you remember, right, 係咪我哋話啦 whoever more elastic，我哋嗰陣時係咁寫㗎嘛 more elastic will eat less. This time, the same applies. Whoever more elastic would eat less benefits. Okay, 一樣嘅啫. The result is exactly the same as what we would see in tax. Okay, so if ED is more elastic than ES, right? 係咪而家啦？A producer more elastic, no, consumer more elastic. So consumer will eat less, meaning producer eat more. OK，咁嘅道理嘅啫。Vice versa，嗱呢個唔嘥時間啦，好嘛？Now let's look at the graph. I would argue this is actually the hardest part, handling of graphs, because again, if you remember from last video, this time the graph will look very ugly. OK, for one good reason. Q2, okay, because of Q2. 因為 Q2 嘅問題啊。Okay, now first of all, let's think about the logic, right? Now, if we want consumer subsidy benefit to be larger, then we know our condition is simply 因為而家 consumer 食多啲啊嘛，係嘛？ Whoever more elastic eat less. So whoever less elastic eat more, right? It means that ED is more elastic. Actually, no, less elastic. Okay, less elastic than supply. OK，好嘛，好嗱咁嚟咯噃。How do we draw the graph？嗱，慢慢嚟啊，don't rush，don't rush。Make sure we draw it the right way. Okay. Now, first of all, no funny business with demand, as we always say, right? Now, if you also remember when we do subsidy, remember leave some buffer here. So this one, supply, we draw a little bit upwards. But remember, this time we want supply to be more elastic because producer will be enjoying less. So how we are going to make elasticity of supply increase? And if you remember, to be more elastic supply, 我哋想佢 elastic 啲啦, then we draw it to be more horizontal, which is this one. Let's call this S1. Then here we have our S2. Now remember, subsidy is a downward shift, our subsidy, right? 好啦，記住啊, the main point is actually at Q2. Let's highlight Q2 first. And then Q2, we go up all the way when it touches S1. Okay, 好嘛? Now let's see what happens to the price. Okay, now obviously we have P1 here, and then we have P2 here, right? 好啦，記住啦，彈埋過嚟。Now, the drop in price, who would benefit? 平咗邊個受惠啊? Of course, consumer would be the one to benefit. So this one, 記住啊，係 all the way up to Q2, not Q1. 嗱，所以你見我特登係唔話 Q1 住㗎, not to confuse myself, okay? This red box is what we call consumer subsidy benefits. Okay, then the rest, 見唔見呢度仲有好少? The rest of this box, green box, the rest of the tax, not tax, subsidy, will be what we call producer subsidy benefit. Then we finish the graph by completing this one. Remember, this is the original Q1. And you see, right, it has increased and price dropped. And we also give a reference, P3, okay, should be right here. 唔夠位寫啊. P3 should be right this point, P3. Okay, 好嘛? So this is how. Now let's check. we want consumer subsidy benefit to be larger than producer subsidy benefit, right? Correct, right? Now, so my suggestion, pause the video for like 1 minute and try to draw the next graph before you resume the video. Okay, here we go. Now, I'm assuming you have paused the video, right? So let's see. Let's check the answer. We have a P, we have a Q, 好嘛？嗱，again, no funny business with demand。嗱，我哋諗咗先，if consumer subsidy benefit needs to be lower，係嘛？Because 我哋話啦，more elastic eat less. Now consumer eat less. It means that ED should be larger than ES。好啦，我哋點樣令到 ES 點樣令到 ES 細過 ED 啊？We just need supply to be less elastic。OK，好嘛？So how do we draw this? If this one is a horizontal, then this one is a vertical, right? Is a vertical. So let's say here we have our S1, and then we are here we have our S2. Now, sir, shift 咁少嘅？No, no, 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 no. Remember, this is a downward shift. So this is already quite a big shift. 係 shift 咗好多噶啦，好嘛？Now here, remember, start with Q2, okay? Q2 先啊，記住啊，唔好話 Q1 住。Don't confuse yourself. And then all the way up to here, okay? Then we have our P1, and then we also have our new price, P2. 記住啦，this is not enough. We need to go all the way to Q2, okay? 我哋要去到 Q2 呢度啦。Now, let's see. This is a drop in price. Drop in price, just like we mentioned just now, consumer subsidy benefit. Because when a drop in price, who would benefit? Of course, consumer would benefit. 俾平咗嘛，梗係 consumer 開心啦，係嘛？Now, but we still have the rest of the subsidy. 點解成日講 tax 嘅？係嘛？ We still have the rest of the subsidy. So here, all the way, we have a P3 up here. 冇用嘅 reference only. Okay, reference only. So this box. This green box, okay, will be what we call producer subsidy benefit. Then we finish the graph by also stating Q1, so you see, right, increase a little bit, decrease a little bit. Okay, so this would be the case when producer subsidy benefit is more than consumer subsidy benefit. Okay, now you see, right, the logic follows the exact same logic as what we did in tax, except remember, 其實一樣啊 we are also stopping at Q2， 我哋係 Q2 先嘅 except this time it will be very ugly。overlapping 係啱㗎，你畫到咁樣係啱㗎，唔使驚啊，好嘛？係核突㗎，但係啱㗎。OK， 好嘛？ Now I suggest this time let's do the opposite. We finish the two past papers first. Then we will look at the extreme, finish the whole chapter with some extreme cases. OK， 好嘛？嚟啦噃。Now this is 1999, but I did a little bit of modification. Okay. Now it is known. So sorry, known. WM. Okay. It is known that the market price decreases by $4 per unit tax after the provision of $10 unit subsidy. 好啦，咁即係咩意思啊？Here. Okay. Here. It means we have a subsidy of $10, but somehow it only results in a decrease in price of $4. 邊個受惠啊？ If this is a decrease in price, then of course consumer subsidy benefit this one。好啦，但係舊 subsidy 有10蚊喎，我哋攞4蚊啫喎。So the rest of the $6 remaining, this one will be our producer subsidy benefit. Now let's see here from this very easy, very clear diagram, we know that consumer subsidy benefit $4 smaller than producer subsidy benefit. OK， 好啦，跟住我哋個口訣啦 ，whoever more elastic eat less. So since consumer eating less, they are more elastic, ED larger than ES. So let's see, we can conclude that good X has a more elastic demand or a less elastic supply. Answer D here，我都唔記得咗改咗啲咩啦。OK，I also do not remember what I've changed. OK，maybe only change such that it is more clear, more precise, or something like that. OK，好嘛，唔記得啦。Then here, 2017, the government introduced a per unit subsidy to the education system of private university. Okay, like per unit subsidy, right? We know that. Now it says, under what condition would the students enjoy a larger share than private university? 我哋諗清楚先啊。First of all, let's identify. Okay, identify their roles. 嗱，呢個唔使寫落題目嘅，but we need to identify the roles first. Okay, for the students, who would they be? They will be the consumer, of course. Okay, while the university would be what we call the producer. Okay, so now it says students' larger shares, right? So it means that here, consumer subsidy benefit needs to be larger than the producer subsidy benefit. And if you remember, whoever more elastic, eat less. Producer, eat less. So producer is having a more elastic supply. OK， 好吧，呢個啦。嗱，of course we need to write it in a proper English. OK， 嗱，所以啦，其實呢條應該點答咧？Of course, now we need to mention with a subsidy. With a subsidy, supply would increases from S1 to S2. 陣間先，好嘛？ Okay, now the second step is at the condition. If demand is less elastic，記住唔好寫錯啊，唔係 inelastic 啊，係 less elastic. Then we put a cross bracket. 嗱，咩係錯咧？elastic，我話 inelastic 係錯㗎呢個，唔係 inelastic 啊，係 less elastic。OK， then supply。OK， then 係嘛 consumer subsidy benefit, which in this case would be i.e. students. Okay, will be larger than the producer subsidy benefit, which is universities. Okay, so this is a condition. Now, how do we draw this graph? Simple, like what we have been doing for the opening of the video, right? Again, no funny business with demand. Now, we need supply, demand less elastic, which means we just need supply to be more elastic. So how do we draw it? How do we draw it? Okay, we just draw this one. 哎呀，倒轉咗添。More horizontal, more horizontal supply, more elastic. Okay, so this is a subsidy. Remember, Q2 is the important quantity. We go all the way here, and then we have our P1, and also we have our P2. You see, right? It drops. 好啦， now as price drops, we know that this red box, in exam you can't use red, so use shading pattern. Okay, shading pattern. This is our consumer subsidy benefit. The rest of the subsidy, 我有 tax 啊，唔知做乜事啊。The rest of the subsidy, this time we shade in another way. 倒轉嚟 shade 啦 okay, in another stroke. This is our producer subsidy benefit. Let's check. Consumer larger than producer. We are correct. So finally, we just put in here. This is P3, this cross, and of course, this is Q1. You see price decrease, quantity increases, and our condition is met. Okay, 得唔得？ So when you see this kind of question, when they ask for university per unit subsidy and also ask for larger share of subsidy benefit, right? We just need to compare the elasticity of demand versus that of supply. Okay, 好嘛? Now with that said, right? Now you see I didn't put in too many past paper questions here because the idea is the same as text. Therefore, I didn't put too much here as they follow the same logic. Okay. Now for the last part of our chapter, let's also very briefly look at the extreme cases, right? The first one, perfectly inelastic demand. Okay. Now, if it is perfectly inelastic demand, whoever more elastic, eat less. Whoever less elastic, eat more. It is perfectly inelastic demand. So what does it mean? It means that ED is infinitely smaller than yes. Okay? ED is infinitely smaller than yes. Therefore, we know that, right? A consumer subsidy benefit will be infinitely more than a supply of a producer. In fact, it should be all of them 佢會食晒嘅. Okay, so here what will happen? Let's see. Let's see. Heavily inelastic demand. Now, therefore, this time we need to do something funny with demand. Heavily inelastic. So this one will be our demand. The supply no need to do anything funny. This time we have our S1, we have our S2, and then we have our subsidy. Okay, let's see. 又係啦 Q2 行頭. So Q2 is here, which is the same as Q1. 今次係一樣嘅，好嘛？ Then let's see. This is our P1. This is our P2. Now you see here we have a drop in price. What does that mean? It means that this whole red box will be all consumer subsidy benefit. 平咗啊，係咪啊? So this time you will see something funny happens. Okay, something funny happens. Okay, wow. What is funny about this one? Okay, funny thing is about total revenue after subsidy. For those of you who already see it, right? Actually, this time quantity doesn't change and the effective price doesn't change. Therefore, it remains unchanged. 見唔見啊？其實加翻上嚟嘅 area 係一樣嘅。Okay, so in this case, total revenue after subsidy doesn't change. Okay, 好嘛? So what about the next one? Perfectly inelastic supply. Okay, 嗱同樣道理啦。If this one inelastic, perfectly inelastic demand is CSB all, then this one producer subsidy benefit will eat all, obviously, right? How? We will see. Okay, now here we have our demand and then perfectly inelastic supply. It means that here S1. Now, so sorry, it should be a vertical, not a curve. Okay, 唔好意思啊，手殘啊。Since this is an downward shift, would there be any change? No. So technically speaking, they are still the same. 同一條嚟嘅 technically speaking. If this is the same, no shift, then P1 would remain unchanged. And Q1, Q2 would also remain unchanged. OK, 好啦，咁即係發生咩事啊? In fact, or price doesn't change. So would there be any consumer subsidy benefit? No. Then for the whole subsidy here, okay, maybe this is a subsidy. Let's call this P2. Useless. It's just a reference. Okay, this green box would actually be all producer subsidy benefit. Okay, because price didn't change. Quantity also didn't change. So all of the subsidy would be enjoyed by the producer. OK， 好嘛，好啦，最後兩個啦。What about perfectly elastic demand? Then again, elastic, perfectly elastic. Perfectly elastic, if I am 好哋啦。Perfectly inelastic, then consumer eat all. Then the opposite should be producer eat all, of course. Now, this is a perfectly elastic demand, horizontal in nature. Okay, then we draw two supplies, right? Here we have our S1, and here we have our S2. So you see, right here we have a subsidy. So remember, important thing is Q2 first. Q2 先啊. Here, then we go up all the way here. Okay, 我哋 check 啦. This is P1, this is P2. In fact, there is a drop in price. When there is a drop in price, we see that this red box will be our consumer subsidy benefit. Is there any remaining subsidy left? No. There 咦唔係喎，咁我呢個唔係我錯啊？CSB咦，wait. Did I do anything funny? Oh no, I suck. I'm so sorry. I get it wrong. 嗱，唔好意思啊，this is all wrong. 未瞓醒啊，I'm so sorry. Okay, perfectly elastic demand. Let's do it again. Okay, I'm so sorry, right? Perfectly elastic demand should be like this. 嗱，呢 curve 係冇畫錯嘅。Demand like this, and then we have our supply one, and we have our supply two. Okay, now 原來搞錯咗一樣嘢，so sorry, right? This is a Q2. Has price changed? No. 頭先搞錯咗呢樣嘢啊。So there is no change in price. Okay. Now at Q2, if the price doesn't change, then what happens? We see that up here 又嚟啦。Q2 all the way up here. This whole subsidy, okay, 哎，畫漏咗添。This whole subsidy would be enjoyed by producer because there is no change in price. Therefore, this one, P2, which is useless, all of it will be producer subsidy benefit. Then we finish the graph by saying this is also Q1. Okay, so you see there will be more quantity, but price doesn't change. So all of it will be producer subsidy benefit. OK， 好嘛？嗱，所以你見啦，呢類真係難畫㗎，其實係咪 extreme case？Even I will make it wrong。OK， 好嘛？Finally, perfectly elastic supply. So I think this one should be consumer subsidy benefit. Take it off，係嘛？So let's try this one. Perfectly elastic supply. So no funny business with demand. Elastic supply. So should be horizontal, right? This one, S1, and this one, S2. We have our subsidy. Now again, Q2 first. Q2 first, all the way up here. This is our P1. This is our P2. Okay, P1 drop to P2. Then here, you see it drop in price. What does that mean? It means that if this is a drop in price, then consumer will benefit, consumer subsidy benefit. All of it will be consumer subsidy benefit. But let's see. What happens to the total revenue to producer? In fact, it has also increased. Okay, originally P1 Q1, now is P1 Q2. Okay, so you see 係嘛嗱，其實呢嚿啊，this blue box, although 嗱小心唔好搞錯啊，although there is no subsidy benefit, okay, we know that PSB equals to 0, but we also see that total revenue will still increase by this blue box. Why? Because quantity has increased. OK， 所以小心啲啊，唔好以為 producer subsidy benefit 零 then it means that there is no profit to be made. No, this is not correct. OK， 好嘛？ So this would conclude all of the extreme cases, and that would also conclude our chapter 11 on tax and subsidy. Okay, 好嘛? So this is a very short version of the concept. So I'm sure Mrs. Feng will help me to also finish the rest of the chapter and the concepts. Okay, now, so I will see you again in the 20th of May. Okay, bye bye.